and he's just a super guy. And at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Roy Slicker, wherever he is. Here he comes.
How y'all doing? Great. Awesome. Let me just get this away here. Well, I think it'd be appropriate, considering where we are, to say thank you. Thank you very much. We're in Memphis. Anyway, I think it's also very appropriate to say thank you to Joe. I think he's done a wonderful job here the last year, and we put our hands together. Thank you, Joe. Last couple of days I have a little bit of cold, so I'm here eating cough drops like crazy so I don't have a coughing attack. So if you wonder why I got sailing around in my mouth, it's one of those little halls. So, yeah, it's one of these directional. I got to talk right into it. So welcome to Winterland. When I got here on Sunday, there was ice everywhere and limbs all over the parking lot. It was absolutely gorgeous, but cold. So, as Joe said, my name is Roy. This is Charlie. Charlie, this is a National Barbecue Association. Everyone, this is Charlie. So Charlie and I drove here from Oregon, and people laugh and say, why in the heck do you drive so far? Because there are things on the ground that you can see, smell, and taste that you cannot from the air. And I'm here today because when you hear this story, it's really about what this association has done for me in a short period of time. Last year, I had a small catering company, and you're going to hear how far I've come in a short period of time because of the networking with these people. It's an amazing story, and I needed to tell it, and I'm happy that they allowed me to do it. So, let's get started. Really, it's about applying what you learn here. When I came here, I was very apprehensive, sort of closed in. I feel like I was around the legends, and I really couldn't communicate with them. But what I was amazed of how well they communicated back with questions. So really, this is about accelerating your learning curve and overcoming obstacles very quickly and networking with truly the best in the business. I'm going to give you examples of how to grow your business very quickly utilizing the resources that are here this week, and we'll get back to Charlie. And this is really for anybody that wants to compete at a higher level, overcome that apprehension and fear, and just have a blast doing what you absolutely love. So a little background. Prior to the annual meeting in 2009, as Joe said, I'm from Sisters, Oregon. That's smack dab in the middle of Oregon. It's nowhere near Portland. It doesn't rain anything like it does on the West Coast. But we're in high desert. And I had a little catering company here. These are the catering rigs that I had. One of these I brought down last year, and the smoker's inside. And it's a small catering company. I'd been queuing for about 5 years. Had no base of operations, so the company was growing slowly. Basically, I worked when I wanted, so I had some time off. A lot of time off, and it was really word-of-mouth marketing. And I did not want to open a restaurant. Everything I knew about restaurants meant I was going to spend my life there, and I didn't want to do that. You know, I was happy with this catering company. There were no plans for a restaurant. There was no idea, no name, no logo, no location, no suppliers, no products, only a lot of resistance to the whole damn idea. That was February 17th of last year. Finding your tribe. This is really a tribe. And I think what I mean here is we often look for other people that are doing the same things that we're doing. Finding your tribe is seeking others doing the same. It's really validation for our own passions. That's very key here. You'll find people here that you can share your enthusiasm or your hostilities in the same things. It provides inspiration, I think, to raise the bar. When you're around other people that are doing something that you're not, you can do it. They're doing it. and it provides that inspiration. I think people also do much better when they have colleagues around them doing the same things and mentors. Attending the annual meeting last year, these were my goals. I wanted to meet the masters. I come down here, brought my rig down, and I thought I want to hang out with the masters and just have a lot of fun. Hang out in the bar late at night, have a great old time. I wanted to learn more about catering because I definitely wanted to grow that without having a restaurant. So how was I going to do that? I wanted to figure out how to bottle stuff because I didn't know anything about that. So I wanted to just do it in small quantities, maybe get it in some little gift shops here and there. And I wanted to learn more about competitions. I certainly want to try some barbecue in Austin. That was high on my list because there's an awful lot of them around there. For those of you who went on the tour last night, yesterday we went to 4. One of the days last year we went to 8. If you thought you were full last night, we went to 8 one day. I think the next day we bailed on some of them because everybody was moving so slow. So I wanted to bring my smoker down and I wanted to make some friends. Just want to have a good old time. What happened? What happened was I met the masters all right. And I stayed up some late nights and had some tough mornings. Had a lot of fun. I attended a lot of seminars, and I saw some amazing things and heard some amazing stories. I got real confused, though, about a lot of things, so I had to have more conversations, offline conversations from those seminars. I met a lot of restaurant owners in the Austin area there, so I definitely needed to go back. And I had tons of encouragement for my ideas and things. I was bouncing around like a BB, and they were saying, oh, yeah, you can do that, you can do that. Sure. So the specific seminars that I attended last year were public relations, turning your passion into a business, you are the brand, bottling and marketing my rubs and sauces, the white tablecloth barbecue session, expansion, going from one location to multiples, and judging class. From the competitor's angle, this really wasn't, I didn't take the judging classes. What I did is, with my smoker, well, Mike and I and a few other people, we actually cooked the food for the judging classes. So I got a very unique view of the judging class, actually making the food. That was an experience of a lifetime doing that. The trade show exhibits, what's cool about this is that you can touch this stuff. On the internet, it's great. You can find anything you want on the internet, but you can't touch it. As soon as you get it, oftentimes it's not what you thought it was. The quality's not there. What's cool about this in the exhibitor is you can touch it, you can see it. So I encourage you got to get to the exhibits here. It's really good stuff. So they had packaging suppliers, food safety products, gloves, shop and pit cleaners, cooking gear. I got this thing called a grill grate last year. It's amazing. Commercial food suppliers, and dozens of ideas that came out of that exhibit for me. Those people I met. These are just a few. Mike Mills, Amy Mills, Paul, the Orisons, Joe, Paul Kirk, Ruben and Bonnie Gomez. I mean, Woody and Cecilia, it went on and on and on. And I got to a point where I couldn't believe the people I was hanging out with. It was unbelievable. I'd never met these people before. I'd heard about them. I thought they were gods to me. And I think it's really important to say it's very, very rare for those of you who have not been here to find this high caliber of experienced and knowledgeable barbecue experts in one educational environment like this. This doesn't happen that often. And you can learn everything you need. So, long drive home. I left. Remember, I didn't want to create a restaurant. But I was very confused, and I have a lot of energy. That is extremely dangerous. I was on the phone with my wife back and forth, phone calls, calling people here, calling people there. I believed that I had everything that I needed to make a decision to open a restaurant. I only needed to convince my family. The two on the left there represent members of my family. The one on the right is me. Barbecue, of course. Come on. Simple. And that represents a telephone call. So there was a unanimous decision, of course, to open a restaurant. And the conditions were, based on what I saw in Austin and all the tours that we went on, a number of people that I talked to, is could I do this where we were open till we're out? It's an interesting concept. Could we do that? Could we stay open only 5 days a week and pull that off and still maintain customers and grow without getting them upset? You know, sort of create a sense of urgency to get there. So, yeah, we decided that's what we were going to do. And the insane part about this is we wanted to do this by Memorial Day. That's the third week in May, okay? So it hits in February, and I'm driving home, and we're me, all this stuff is going on, and I couldn't figure out, all right, how am I going to get this done? I went back to what I learned here in the people. Networking is the #1 thing that you can do here. Do not be afraid. Any badge that you see as a member, a longtime member, anybody that's doing a presentation, a board member, anything, ask them a question. We want to help. Last year, people helped me, and now it's my turn to give back. It's the #1 thing you can do. You can utilize contacts to overcome some amazing things here. Networking is an act of sharing information for the greater good. And you find when you give, you get back in amazing ways. I utilized my contact to attack a very long list of things that I had, and I was making that list on my drive back. They knew vendors and suppliers, and they were happy to recommend those. But I still needed a logo, a menu, a location, equipment, uniforms, on and on. Remember, that didn't exist. The catering company I had was called the Left-Handed Chef. I'm left-handed. That's why I called it that. But that name really didn't ring for a barbecue restaurant. Chef Barbecue. It didn't sound right to us. Okay? We knew it. We had some internal conflicts with that. So here's how I did it. The branding and product identification. Remember, one of the seminars that I went to was about that identifying your unique brand and identification. We had nothing on March 20th, and we got with On Cue. I can't say enough about these people. It's amazing. They'll ask you questions, they'll get with you and talk to you about who you are, who your family, what are you about, what do you want to be known for? And you're going, come on, I want to just name it, I want to name it, I want a logo, come on. And you're trying to do all this. Slow down, you got to go through this process. So you go back and forth, and by April 27th, we had completed our identity. That's our logo. That was completed from scratch. Okay, and you can notice it's got kind of a Western theme. In the Northwest, we have a lot of horses and cattle. It's very Western. And so we wanted a little bit of barbed wire in there, some rope. If you know, it's got the cowboy hat. And also the little weather vane there says Northwest. Okay? This thing came together very, very quickly, but it took some back and forth to get it right. An amazing process with them. Out of that, we created our menus, our signs, cards, and stationery. And then we had a catchphrase. My daughter, 12-year-old daughter, we actually went back to Austin for spring break. They had 2 weeks off. And we went to 17 barbecue restaurants in 5 days. That's a lot. On the way back, my daughter said, "Hey, Dad, can we stop for a salad or something? I'm feeling a little tired." So anyway, we were trying to come up with a catchphrase we could put on the back of our shirts. It's like a rodeo in your mouth. That's our catchphrase. You go, that's a little strange. We're in the Northwest. It's amazing how many shirts we've sold. Then we had to get the uniforms, and we had to find a place where we could have those printed. Again, networked with people that were here last year, and Silkworm provided very fast and professional service, turned it around very quickly. Okay, so finding the location, it wasn't so easy. In Sisters, we wanted to be downtown. We wanted to negotiate an aggressive lease. We were going to leverage one against the others. We got lots of offers for free rent. And bingo, we found one. It's the lower level of this building right here. It used to be a convenience store. However, it was zoned as a store, not as a restaurant, so we had to go to the Planning Commission. They go, oh no. So I got to know them. They're people. I got to know them, ask them questions. I invited them to our grand opening. They all wanted a barbecue restaurant in Sisters. There wasn't anyone around. So this is when we were in a waiting period for 2.5 weeks. We went to Texas and went to 17 barbecue restaurants in 5 days. Might as well use our time to do some research. So we signed our lease April 17th and completed all the modifications on the inside. And you don't see pictures of the inside. It's got barbecue joint pictures everywhere. There's old John Deere bicycles hanging from the ceiling. It's got corrugated metal. It's got picnic tables. There's only 9 tables in there. But we completed all of that in 28 days. All of it. And we opened our doors May 20th, the Wednesday right before Memorial Day. So, one thing I want to tell you is be really nice to the authorities. Okay? This will help. Okay? What I discovered was the health department officials, and I'll get a little ahead of myself, but they put their pants on the same way I do and you do. If be really nice to them, ask questions of these guys. When you're in a hurry, I can guarantee you they aren't. And when you ask questions, everything available about what you need to do at the health department is available online. You read it all. You anticipate the questions. You're ahead of them. When he walked in the door to do our final inspection, I had one chance to open on May 20th. I led him around that place and showed him everything I did. I didn't let him ask questions. I led him around. I got so much energy. He was trying to follow me, and I was talking. He was trying to keep up so he can hear me. So you led him around, and he said, "This is amazing. It's clean. It's done. You must have done your research." Yep. Gave us the approval to open. Unbelievable. But what I realized was treat them like people. Lead them around. They're people. They want to help you too because it means money for them. So, making news and free advertising, I don't mean getting arrested. Applying what I learned last year, I went to a seminar. Linda Orison was conducting part of that. Amazing. Okay? Amy Mills, this PR seminar. And the things that I learned is to be open and be creative about it. And I started asking questions. Well, what do you really mean? Okay? Well, you got to get involved in your community. So I donated. One of the suggestions that Linda made is, donate my time and services. Know what's going on in your community. Habitat for Humanity. I catered their volunteer appreciation party. Donated the food and my time. We had so many customers after that. It was amazing. You reach out to newspapers and radio, and I co-sponsored a fundraiser. I created a student senior discount card very quickly. Those people are regular, and they talk a lot. Now, the other thing that's very important is knowing the rivalries in your community. You all know what the Civil War is about in Oregon? There's two. We don't have a professional football team. We have the Ducks and the Beavers, the two colleges in Oregon. And whoever won the Civil War this past year went to the Rose Bowl. So right before that, I had this crazy idea. I said, wow, the Ducks and the Beavers. Packaging sauces and rubs. Believe me, I knew absolutely nothing, and it scared the heck out of me because of the health department issues. That little label on the side, the little nutritional information. You got to do tests and pH this and barcodes, and you got to get all kinds of stuff. So I attended the seminar in 2009. While some of it was very high end, and I didn't understand it. I didn't want to go to a huge co-packer and make 6,000 bottles of barbecue sauce right out of the gate and not have anybody buy it. I had a lot of questions, and I networked. I networked with Ruben. I talked to Woody, and it's amazing. They really slowed me down and taught me slowly. Okay, this is simple. You just got to do this, this, and this. So I found wbbottle.com and ebottles.com, and I bought a small run of bottles. So I created some samples. The barcode was simpler than I thought. I actually had it in 4 hours if you go to gs1.org. Bought it, had it in 4 hours. I was like, wow, that was easy. I'd been putting it off for a long time because I was so afraid that it was going to be this big process and they were going to, grill me or something. Nutritional information, USDA and health department, send it to a food lab. That's all you have to do. You have to test it yourself. Send it to a food lab. I use foodqualitylabs.com. You can use any one of them. You just do a Google search. I found that. I think the most important thing to do with that information is send it to somebody who knows what they're doing. And I used Sticks-On Labels out of New Mexico, which was a contact that Ruben gave me. They took that information, which was I'm not real good at math. I don't like it that much. So it comes in one form, and you have to convert it to another form, and in another form. And I just gave it to them, and boom, I got the label back, and it was all done. I'll calculate it and figure it out. So the result was 3 new labels. We have a beef rub, a pork rub, and an original barbecue sauce, and I just finished that. Actually right before Christmas. It's all bottled up, ready to go. Crossed my fingers. I got a fairly large chain of stores in the Northwest that's going to pick it up, starting with 6 stores. It's going through that process right now. So expanding my catering business was an interesting part of this because the previous dilemma was I didn't have a restaurant, so I couldn't grow the catering business. In catering business, you can't really grow without a restaurant or a base of operations. So what's happened since that is since opening Slicks, our revenue's up 300% on the catering side. And we use menus from both Slicks and the Left-Handed Chef. Left-Handed Chef's a little higher end. I guess it's also white tablecloth barbecue. Third area of business open up is self-catered events where we rent Schaefer's. People buy poundage. They take the Schaefer's and poundage and go and come back. And it's not quite catered. It's not the restaurant. It's sort of self-catered, as I call it. And a lot of this came out of the seminar, White Tablecloth Barbecue, from last year. I applied a lot of the techniques. 1 year later, we signed a lease and opened in 28 days. We broke even our first 7 months. Somebody told me this was unusual in a restaurant business. We broke even. So that was actually from May 20th through the 31st. We're seeing over 400 people a day right now on average during our busy months. It's packed. And what's interesting about the business breakdown, it's very encouraging to me. We want to get that number, the first number, down so the outsiders coming in, because it's a small tri-city area where we are, but 40% is from locals, 60% is from out of town, but that's pushing upward. The number is going up. And 90% of those people, of the 60%, said they heard about us from somebody else and were told to come. That's really good. I think that's a great thing. So we have our original recipe sauces and rubs now. This is all since this last meeting. And a plan's in place for working on a second restaurant open in 2010. I have a location. I have negotiated a screaming lease. I just got to figure out how to fund it. But I'll figure it out. So Charlie. We said we get back to Charlie. Stop staring at me. The making of a mannequin. So this is one of those things, another kind of crazy PR thing. This is after we opened the restaurant. We went to a museum and found this thing for $50 on Craigslist. He was naked when I picked him up. He had a mustache, that was it. And we wanted to create a little corner on our restaurant where people could have their picture taken with this thing. Create sort of like, hey, have you seen that goofy thing in there? And we have some other things in the restaurant too, some unique hand washing equipment, some other stuff. But there's lots of things going on that people can look at. But Charlie's one of those things that the wall where Charlie sits is probably as big as this corner wall over here, and it's loaded with pictures where Charlie's been all over the country. I take him almost everywhere. I try to hide him in the back. We went across Hoover Dam, and the Homeland Security guys got a kick out of it. I went to Maine in the beginning of October, and I went up into Canada. They didn't bother me, but when I came back into the States in Vermont, they searched the truck, and this was about midnight when I was coming back into Vermont. And I heard a scream, the guy searching the truck, because I was inside the guy with the office, you know. I thought he said nobody else was in the truck. He's a dummy, you know. Listen, if somebody would have asked me a year ago, before this conference, you know, told me that I would meet some of the top barbecue legends and end up, most of those as very good friends, that I would put over 26,000 miles driving around to barbecues, a lot of miles with him, visiting barbecue restaurants around the country, that I'd open a fast-growing barbecue restaurant in the Northwest, that I would create, bottle, and start selling my sauces in stores and my rubs, that I'd be on TV and newspapers in a good way, that I'd be elected to the board of directors for the National Barbecue Association, and that I'd be up here giving this opening presentation. You know what I'd have said? I'd have said, you're smoking something, and I don't mean brisket and pork. Anything is possible with this organization, I can assure you. It is an amazing group of people. It truly is. Go out there this week and just, for everyone that's new here, go out there this week. Find your dream. Get it done. We're all here to help. One last thing. One final message. In a lot of these presentations, I really want you to remember this message when you're out talking to people here. Learning. Apply what you learn. You can do it very quickly. Don't put it off. Don't have fear of failure. You got to fail sometimes in order to get the experience.
Mighty good, mighty good. I love barbecue.